Welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal channel. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Multiple publications are reporting that Manchester United have reached an agreement with Gyökeres to sign for them this summer. However, Ruben Amorim has given us a massive update on this deal, and we're going to be diving into the stories. Have Manchester United overtaken Arsenal in this deal? Have they hijacked our deal to sign Gyökeres? Are Arsenal willing to let go of Alexander Isak to sign Gyökeres as their number one priority right about now? All those are questions we're going to be answering in this video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get into it. So a couple of reports have been reporting that Manchester United have agreed a deal to sign Gyökeres. Now, these reports are basing on the fact that Ruben Amorim has worked with Gyökeres in the past, and therefore the two gentlemen would easily agree a deal to rejoin and work together at Manchester United. However, according to two big journalists, that is Florian Plettenberg in German and Fabrizio Romano, there is no such agreement. Manchester United have not been given the green light by Gyökeres to sign him or to talk to Sporting, and there is no agreement on personal terms as well. And we'll understand why later on in this video. Fabrizio Romano has also revealed that Manchester United are big admirers of Gyökeres and especially Ruben Amorim. He loves the striker. He's worked with him before, but at the moment there is nothing like an agreement. There's nothing like Manchester United overtaking Arsenal. Arsenal have done some work on this deal with Andrea Bata leading the chess. So what is going on? Why are we hearing these links? What is the truth about Manchester United and Gyökeres? And can Arsenal trust Gyökeres to sign for us this summer? So one thing is undeniable here. Manchester United under Ruben Amorim want a striker, and they're looking at a couple of options. They're looking at Mateus Cunha at Wolves. They're also looking at Gyökeres as a number 9. But Ruben Amorim, having worked with Gyökeres, he loves the player, he understands the player, and of course, who doesn't want a goal machine? He made him the player he is today. I mean, Gyökeres walking into Sporting Lisbon, he wasn't scoring 58 goals per campaign. He wasn't scoring 60 goals per campaign. It was after working with Ruben Amorim that he became the fierce monster of a striker that he is right now. So Amorim is saying, I want to go back to Sporting and I want to get Gyökeres out of there and I want to make him the number 9 at Manchester United. There is interest that is 100% confirmed by Fabrizio Romano and also by Florian Plettenberg as well. However, the lies are that Manchester United have agreed a £60 million deal with Sporting, or they've agreed a deal with Gyökeres to actually sign for them. Ruben Amorim was asked about this, and he said, I have not talked to the player, but if he wants to join Manchester United in order to play the UEFA Champions League, then he won't join us, he won't come to the club. It is not going to happen. We want players that want to play for Manchester United, that want to represent Manchester United, not players that want to play in certain competitions. Well, this sounds like a Mikel Arteta quote way back when he had just joined Arsenal in 2020. Arsenal were looking at some players at Borussia Dortmund, and the players said to Edu that as long as you give us the salary that we actually want, it's okay, we shall play for Arsenal. And the deals broke down. And this was explained by Edu and Mikel Arteta like, Arsenal don't want to sign players because the players want a salary or they want to play in the Premier League. They want players that identify with the project and players that are willing to push the project. Hence, Arsenal signed Martin Odegaard over James Maddison. If you remember, Arsenal signed Benjamin White over a couple of other right backs that were available at the time because these players understood the assignment. They understood that Mikel doesn't want players that are out there to, represent themselves in the Premier League and the Champions League. He wants players that are here to represent Arsenal and the project that he was building. So that is what Amorim is saying as well, that he's worked with Gyökeres under Sporting, but if Gyökeres is only interested in playing for Manchester United because of the UCL, then he won't be going to Manchester United. That is a very big update when it comes to United. Also, it's a big update when it comes to Arsenal as well, because at the moment, United are rebuilding and Arsenal are not rebuilding. So, listen, at the moment, Manchester United need players that are really going to be patient with them. It's going to take like 3, 4, 5 years. If you look at Arsenal, from 2020 to 2025, we've won absolutely Nothing. And that means that all the players that are here are not here because Arsenal has been successful. They're here because they believe in the project. So that's what Manchester United need at the moment. On the other hand, Arsenal don't need players that are going to be patient with us. I mean, that's why you brought in Andre Bata. You don't sign a guy like Andre Bata, 9 years at the top of Atletico Madrid's recruitment, in order for him to sign for you kids that are going to believe in the project. You want players that are hungry to win and players that can cause impact. And in most cases, those players will either want a bigger salary and they want clear direction. They don't care about your club. They're here to win and they're here to progress their careers. So, Manchester United at the moment are just interested. They are not ahead of Arsenal. They have not hijacked this deal. They're just interested in Victor Gyökeres. Are they gonna overtake us? Are they going to take the deal away from us? I want to answer that question at the end of this video. But why I think United will not sign Victor Gyökeres is this. First and foremost, the price. Now, they're looking at Matheus Cunha, and according to Fabrizio, they've had advanced negotiations with Matheus Cunha and advanced negotiations with the management of the player in order for him to sign for them this summer. And there is a massive advantage when it comes to Matheus Cunha. Right now, the release clause of Matheus Cunha is about £55 million. The release clause of Victor Gyökeres is 100 million. And of course, that is going to be negotiated down to about 65 to 75 million. But that is still a lot more than Cunha's price. And Manchester United, right now, they can't afford to waste any penny. They're going to need every single penny they can in the upcoming summer. That defense needs to work on, that midfield needs to work on, and the attack as well needs massive reinforcement. So I think they're going to be looking at this in a financial perspective, whereas Arsenal, we're not going to look at it in a financial perspective too much. Because first and foremost, we've got about 70 million to spend on a striker. If we want Gyokerez, he's going to cost about that. If we want Šeško, it's going to cost about that. And if we wanted a player like Hugo Ekitike, he would cost around that as well. And if Arsenal have been prepared and are still prepared to go for Alexander Isak this summer, that tells you they've got a bag full of money. And they do not care if you are Manchester United, if you are in Newcastle, as long as you're willing to have that 100 million and negotiate, they'll put it on the table and they will try to get Alexander Isak. So us to have the money, we've not spent any good money in the last 2 windows. With Manchester United, they've not spent any good money as well, but financially the club is not doing very well. So I don't think they're going to put all their all eggs in one basket and sign Victor Gyökeres, rather than split around the funds that they have, work on, maybe bring in 1 or 2 good midfielders, bring in 1 attacker, maybe Matheus Cunha, and I think that deal is also advanced as well. I'm not saying they will get him. I'm saying they have really done more work than anyone on the Matheus Cunha deal. And I think that the work that we are putting on Benjamin Šeško and the work that we are putting on Martin Zubimendi and Gyökeres, that's the kind of work they've done on Matheus Cunha. That tells you that the manager wants him, the manager believes in him, and a deal could be done. So for me, I don't think United are getting this one done. I don't think it goes there. But Victor Gyökeres, does he want to go to Manchester United or does he want to go to Arsenal? This situation happened when Arsenal were interested in Lisandro Martinez, and we had done more work than any other team on Lisandro Martinez, and we were ahead of everyone, and we were willing to meet the asking price for Lisandro Martinez. What Manchester United did, they used Erik ten Hag. He had worked with Lisandro Martinez at Ajax, and they used that relationship, they used that bond to go and negotiate with Ajax. Of course, they paid more money and asked to say, listen, we are not willing to go as high as you guys are going, right? You're trying to blow our bid out of the water, and therefore we rest. And remember, the rest is history. We signed Alexander Zinchenko. Could that be a tactic that Manchester United want to revisit? Yes and no. Yes, they can use the relationship between the player and the manager. I think that is that works all the time. We used it with Zinchenko. We used it with Raheem Sterling. We used it with Gabriel Jesus and Mikel Arteta. They've worked with him before. Many clubs were interested, but Arsenal managed to get the deals done. So Man United could use that. But what they can't do, they can't overbid for Victor Gyokerez. So that means that Arsenal still hold the power on this deal. If Arsenal decided that instead of 60 million, maybe Manchester United want to pay 60, we are going to pay a little bit like 72, I think Manchester United would back down. They do not have the financial muscle to wrestle with us right at the moment. And also, even if they had, they have so many positions to take care of. Maybe a left back, maybe a centre back, maybe a new goalkeeper. Onana has not been good this season. Maybe a replacement for Casemiro. They also need a number 8. They need 2 new wingers and a new goal scorer. So I think in terms of this deal, United can have a few opportunities, but that will depend on Arsenal. Now, here's the problem. Gyökeres will want UEFA Champions League, and that blows so many teams out of the race. We're talking Tottenham, Manchester United. I mean, United could win the Europa League. What am I saying? But if Tottenham win the Europa League, that means Manchester United don't get UEFA Champions League. If United win the UEFA Champions League, that means, the Europa League, that means Tottenham don't get the UEFA Champions League. But you get the point. He wants UEFA Champions League, right? And I don't think it's so wrong for a player to want UCL at 27 years of age. I mean, that's your prime. That's your prime. And if you look at the players that Arsenal was signing in order to build players that would believe in the project, they were not 27-year-old players. They were players that were between the age of 22 and 24. And what Mikel Arteta was looking at there is, can I get players that are experienced enough, but they are not in their prime? Hence, Ben White, Julian Timber, Matt Nodegaard, all these players. We put together a team that was ready to compete right now because they were young and they had the energy, and that defined our team. Energy, it was a young team, exciting to watch, but it had a lot of energy because they were young. But they didn't have a lot of experience, right? They had played for about 2 or 3 seasons for their respective clubs. The likes of Matt Nodegaard had played for about 5-6 seasons because they blossomed at the right age of 16. But I think that's where Manchester United have to go. You don't sign 27-year-olds. They're going to have certain demands. They're going to have specific demands. So if you look at Mikel Arteta right now, he wants Alexander Isak. Is Isak really going to sign for you without the UCL? I don't think. In 2022, he did. He signed for Newcastle without Champions League football. Right now, in 2025, 3 years later, just 3 years later, he's saying, I'm 25 and I want to go to a club that has UEFA Champions League football. And Arsenal saying, here we are. So I think it makes sense for Gyökeres to want Manchester United, but United are not suitable and they're not in position to give him what he would want as a striker. So, can Manchester United get the deal done? And will Arsenal, complete the signing as well? I think with Arsenal, it depends on Alexander Isak. It truly depends on Alexander Isak. The 3 prime targets are Šeško, Gyökeres, and Isak. I don't know if at any point in time, Andre Bata will suggest Lautaro Martinez, because for me, he's a brilliant player. You've got to look at him if he's for sale. But for Gyökeres, it's going to depend on, one, do Arsenal get Alexander Isak? If we get Alexander Isak, it's done. We don't get Victor Gyökeres. It's as simple as that. Secondly, I don't think Arsenal will get Alexander Isak, but how long are we willing to ponder and wait for the Alexander Isak deal? We know that Arsenal in the past years, under Arsene Wenger and Emery, we have taken a lot of time to sign the key target. Remember that summer where Arsenal wanted Wilfried Zaha and we ended up with Nicola Pepe later on? It was because Arsenal took a long time to secure the signing of Wilfried Zaha. And in the end, we ended up with the player that the manager never asked for. And of course, under Arsene Wenger, he wanted Di Maria, ended up with Ozil. That was a whole summer. Then there was a time when he wanted Benzema. There's a time when he wanted Lamar from Monaco. And then there's a time when we wanted Alexander Lacazette for a whole summer. And those deals didn't happen. So if Arsenal are willing to accept reality quickly and early enough that the deal's not going to happen, probably mid-June, then Gyökeres has all the chances to become the next Arsenal striker. But if Arsenal are willing to delay, I think the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Manchester United will pounce on this opportunity and get the deal done. With Manchester United, it's about the fans. It's about, I don't think, listen, if Manchester United had the money, I don't think it would really matter if he wants to play for them or he wants to play in the UCL. I mean, there's so many players that have gone to Manchester United and they don't care about this club. Robin van Persie, for example, never cared, just wanted to win. They were a good platform to make him win, and they did so, and that's why he went there. So I think when it comes to United, it's about the funds. Do they have the funds to secure this deal? I don't think they have. I think they have about 150 million to work with. If they sell players, maybe 200 million. But 200 million, they need about 6 signings. And in this market, in these days, you're going to spend a minimum of 35 million to get a reasonably good player. So if you look at Arsenal and how much we've spent across the years to get this squad together, Odegaard is 35 million. Alongside him is Declan Rice, who is 100 million, and behind him is Thomas Partey, who is 50 million. If you look at our backline, yes, Julian Timber is about 45 million euros, but then alongside him is Ben White, who is 50 million, and Arsenal are trying to sign Dean Huyson for 50 million as well. So it's going to be expensive. I think United are going to go for this approach where you literally spend a few reasonable amounts on good players and rebuild. So, Gyökeres to Manchester United, it's not a done deal. It's not a done deal to Arsenal either. It can be hijacked, but at the moment, we are still in safe waters. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll speak to you in the next one.